Welcome to this episode of the Morning Tea Marketing Misses. Why do we get together? Well, we hope to offer some valuable content for small business owners and sole traders to improve online presence and communicate more effectively to reach a larger audience. The month of April, we sort of working around the health topic. And one of our ladies is going to divert a little bit, and I'll tell you about that in a moment. Our online today, we've got Roesch Gaddy, and Roesch is an accredited accessibility auditor. I'm here, and I assist women in leadership roles to remove limiting beliefs and have the courage to stand out as an authority in their field. Gorgeous Kate Smith is a graphic designer for service and experience-based businesses. The treat today, Jan Roesch, her business, as you've been listening, you would have found out her business is BizConnect Web Designs. And Jan has been giving some amazing information on how you can improve your visibility, your SEO and everything online. But what you didn't know, or maybe you did, Jan also has another business called Over 50 Health. And she's talking about how we can be healthy and in our lives and in our business today. Welcome, Jan, and everyone else that's here.
Thank you, Janine. Hi, ladies. How are you?
Hey, doing well. Good to see you guys.
Yes, so this month we are talking about health. And instead of talking about the health of websites, as Janine mentioned, I do have another business, and it is called Over 50's Health. Being that I am over 50, I'm certainly qualified to talk about Over 50's Health. Now, I have a lot of clients who still want to train with me, and I'm still attracting clients who are not 50 or above, and that's fine because I certainly am qualified to work with those from any age, really. So a bit of a rundown, if I may, before I start talking about health, is that I am a powerlifter with Powerlifting Australia. I am a national coach, and I have a level 1 accreditation with the NCIS, which is the National Coaching Accreditation Scheme. And I'm also an international ref with World Powerlifting. So I do have a little bit of experience.
Wow. I'm impressed.
Go, girl.
Experience. And I do have quite a few Australian records that I've had for several years now. And now that I've just gone into the next age group, I've been eyeing off what I need to do to take national, Oceania, and world records.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So we'll see how that all goes. But look, clearly it's a passion of mine. I do love health, and I love what strength training has done for me. And anyone who will listen, I talk to about powerlifting and strength training. So there's a big fallacy that I find working. So I now have I'm a trainer at Dolphins Gym in Redcliffe. And so there's a lot of PTs.
That would be the Dolphins Gym, would it, Jan?
Absolutely.
The Dolphins that were beaten by the Broncos on the weekend. Just slide that in.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I am torn. I am
cheering for both of them. I didn't know who to cheer for, but then I am a Broncos.
I'm with you today. So yes. Yeah. Yes. So my logos, you can see, well, I have my name, and Dolphins Fitness and Aquatic, and of course Over 50's Health, that logo there. So anyway, what I was talking about is PTs in a gym typically do not know how to train for strength. And that's not a blanket. I'm just saying that typically, and I get a lot of PTs who approach me asking for help because they just don't know how to train correct technique in particular lifts. So I had a session this morning with a man who's 61, and he really is quite strong and looks really great for a man who's 61. And so over the last few weeks, he's been talking to me about different challenges that he's had, because I said to him, you know, he's very strong upper body, and I can see he's doing bench press and whatever. And I say to him, oh, what do you do for your legs? And he said, oh, I don't really, because I've had a broken back a couple of times, and so I don't really train my back and my legs. And so I've given him a few little tips on some rehab stuff to do and so on. And so he's been doing those and really noticing a difference. And so I said to him, why don't you have a session with me? And so today he has gained a completely new perspective and understanding on how a power lifter trains versus a PT.
Okay.
So, yep. So the thing about powerlifting, it is all about strict technique so that you don't hurt yourself. So what I'm finding is that a lot of people who have been doing particular exercises and whatever for a long time, when they start training with, like me, they realize that just a few little tweaks to do things properly makes a world of difference. And his face was beaming at the end of that session. He was just like, okay, because he's got a really bad shoulder. So I did a few little, rehab stuff with him beforehand. And he just said, my shoulder is not sore, and it usually is very painful every time I train. And so I just said to him, look, you've realized that doing the activations and so on before we started training today is what's made the difference, and the correct technique. And so, yeah, he's super excited. And now he's like, oh, I'm just going to arrange things because I want to train with you.
Oh, wow.
Really terrific. So I'm excited about that. So, look, the benefits for strength training and what I'm doing with over 50s health is that I really love working with people who are conscious of their health, and that they are, even though they don't understand what strength training or how to strength train, they know that there's something about it that they probably should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
So with what I do, the 3 disciplines that I work with as a power lifter is squat, bench, and deadlift. Now, every single day, moves that we make, walking up the stairs, carrying the groceries, getting in and out of a chair, off the loo, for goodness sake, we are doing squat, bench, or deadlift every day. We just don't realize it. So especially as we age, and, us girls with our bone density, when we reach the age where we're going through all this menopause stuff and whatever else, our bone density can just fall away quite quickly, whereas strength training, resistance training, is so beneficial for increasing our bone density, right? So it's super important. But mentally, my gosh, it is so good. It's like we've had people say strength training is my antidepressant. So we've had people go off of their medications, off of their antidepressants through their strength training. So that's a really good thing to think about. So, people look at me and they see me training, and yes, I'm strong. I can do some really super heavy weights. And so they just think, oh, I can't do strength training. I can't do what you do. Well, I would not expect you to, because you've got to start where you are now. And then we call it progressive overload. So each time you train, it's one more rep or one more set or half a kilo more. It doesn't really matter. And even if you're doing the same thing for a few weeks in a row, it doesn't matter if you just, that could be you just perfecting your technique to make sure that you're staying safe and that you're growing in your strength and your ability. Mm-hmm. So I really do think, like us with Over 50s Health, we are working on strength, nutrition, heart and mind health. So this man is
Jan, just so I want to interrupt. You said, just that little bit more. What did you call that? That one more?
Progressive overload.
Progressive overload. You know what? There's a lot of talk about that, doing that 1% more in business. That just that 1% more each time you do something. Yeah. And that's exactly the same, isn't it?
It is.
And whether it is for physical or it's somewhere you want to apply in your business, just 1% more in a particular area will make a difference.
Absolutely. And look, it's always super important too, in business, in life, in the gym, you need to have a coach. And I'm a coach myself, but I still need to have a coach. And I did a presentation once, and the topic was strong mind, strong body, how that applies to your business and your life. And so I just talked about how in my training, when I was heading towards a competition, I would have different coaches that I would work with. And so, yes, I would have my strength coach, I would have my nutrition coach, and I would have others, like even just someone to talk to about different things. I was talking with a counsellor, but she was a sports counsellor. So even little things like she would say, do you recognise the difference between, just muscle soreness because of the exercises that you're doing, and, hey, I've got to stop this because I'm hurting myself? And I'm like, yeah, I'm all over that. So that's a real thing, just to have somebody to keep you on track to where you need to be. But how I applied, having the other coaches in my life with my training, also with my business, you have to have the right team. Mm-hmm. So we are big in BizConnect. We are very big on understanding or getting to know the right personality, the right profile of our team members. So I'm in the sales and marketing department of our business because I need to be out there with people. That's my thing. Whereas for me to sit behind the desk and just plug away doing stuff online or whatever, sure, I can build websites. That's no issue, but it's not my natural talent. So we need to make sure that we apply the right person in our business, as in, the right coach for our strength or nutrition as well. So with Over 50s Health, we do, yes, we focus on strength training because of the fantastic benefits there. Also nutrition, we know and practice the fact that we need to fuel our bodies. So especially if we're doing some heavy weights with our training, we need to make sure that we have a really good feed afterwards. So I've recently started working with a beautiful lady. Her name is Renee Bailey, and she's a clinical nutritionist. And she has also joined our Over 50s Health team as our clinical nutritionist. So I'm a patient of hers, but she's also joined our team, and she is just absolutely amazing. And so we also work with cardio health, even though I hate cardio and I don't do cardio. Me doing cardio is just lifting faster. Or because we live in this beautiful place, the Redcliffe Peninsula, we go for a walk along the boardwalk or along the waterfront, and we just take in all that beauty. And that also helps us with our mental health. So, the great hormones and whatever that are produced through doing the resistance training is one thing, but also, taking in this beautiful stuff that we have around us here is just amazing. So, and that was one thing that this man said to me this morning, because I've said to him in the past, cardio, you won't see me doing cardio, because he jumps on the treadmill after he's done a weight session. And he said, oh, should I go and jump on the treadmill? And I went, no. I said, go for a walk. The weather here is gorgeous today. I said, you go for a walk along the beach. I said, tomorrow you've got to have a rest day. So go for a walk along the beach or go for a swim or something like that. So just helping him to understand that your recovery day, especially as we get older, your recovery day is just as important as your training day.
Yeah.
So, so look, it's I've rambled on a lot very quickly about a lot of things about Over 50s Health, but whether you're over 50 or not, strength training is amazing for everybody, and for women especially, like I said, with the bone density and so on. And it's a fallacy when you hear somebody say, oh, I don't want to lift weights because I don't want to look like a man. I was like, how many men do you know that look really good like that anyway? But no, we don't have the anatomy to look like a man just by doing some resistance training. We really don't.
The other thing, Jan, that I just want to mention, and I could be wrong, but you're the expert, not me. So when you're talking about squats, bench, and deadlifts, they're all core strength, aren't they, as well?
Everything.
You've got to have a strong core?
Yes, you do. You do.
Okay.
Look, Narelle, with squat, bench, and deadlift, they really are. All of them are all over body exercises.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason I was going to say it is, like, for my particular disability, I've got to have a strong core, because one of the issues that I have is if I fall, I can lose more sight. So I've got to have that really strong core to stop myself from falling. And I'm thinking, oh my God, strength training.
Yeah,
I used to do
absolutely.
gym work, and I do Pilates and a lot of other things now.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's another thing that, you know, people with disability, you know, where you're liable to fall, it's another tool, another piece of equipment that you can use.
Yeah, it's
Another
not just
resource.
disabilities though, Narelle. It's, I mean, I had 2 really bad, heavy falls last year and the year before. Just silly things, just riding a push bike and crashing it and things like that.
Yeah.
But because I haven't done in recent times, but I spent 20 years doing strength and cardio and walking, and so I didn't have any broken bones. And other people I know, I'm sure, have had less severe impact and have broken things a lot more easily. You know, it does help keep a bit of extra weight on. Because every time you take a step, you're loading it as opposed to, you know, an extra 10 kilo load.
Yeah, and look, it's amazing. Those who have been carrying a lot of weight tend to be quite strong anyway, because they have to carry themselves around.
It's really surprising. I know when I used to work with people, you just go, wow, look how strong you are. And it was, but you know what, the core thing, I'm glad you brought that up, Narelle, because what I'm thinking about in business, we need a strong core. And I know I was interacting with somebody this morning who's just starting out, and there was so much coming at her. She just was not sure what steps to take, hearing all this different expert advice from different people, and then not sure where to go with it. And it just made me think, then it's that strong core, and hopefully, you know, there were a few coaches with her who were able to give, and we were all on the same page on the advice we were giving, which was helpful. That you know, you need to build that up, don't you? It's not just in your physical health, it's in your business health.
No, it's all, like, every single, like, you know, I'm a very big believer in setting goals, and especially as an athlete, and even though right now I'm not in this condition, but I've been an elite athlete, and I know what it takes, the discipline it takes every single day, and it's like every single second of every day you're focused, and you can take on the world when you are focused on your goals. And like, you know, you're setting out, and you're, like how you said, to break down your 90-day goals. It's just break it down and eat it like the elephant, right? You just got to break it down into bite-sized pieces, and you tick it off, and you feel that accomplishment that you've ticked that off as you go along. And I just thrive on that, and I feel so out of control if I haven't got goals to focus on, and even much more out of control if I haven't done my meal prep. So, you know, because I love food, and I need food because of what I put my body through. And speaking of that, I've had a lot of people over the years talk about how they can't do weights because they've got arthritis. Let me tell you, I have. It would
be the opposite, wouldn't it?
I have arthritis all through my fingers, all through. So my C1 through to C7 is all arthritis, and I have bulging disc at C7. I have arthritis in my lower back, like right down the C, oh, sorry, not C, S,
L5, L4.
That's one, L5, S1, and also my right hip. So I have a lot of arthritis throughout my body, and I'm pretty sure I've got some in my T-spine as well, because I feel it every now and again. And I have a curve in my spine, so much so that I've lost about 1.5 centimeters in my height over the last few years. So if I wasn't doing some resistance training and building up that muscle to support my frame, I'd be in a lot of trouble by now.
Yeah.
So we really do. When someone says, oh, you're too old to lift weights, or you shouldn't lift weights if you've got arthritis, the absolute opposite is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really to be doing.
And again, bring that back to business, Jan. You know, if you have the things set up, then when things come at you, that it's not, you can still maintain, or you can still go through, you know, achieve results.
You can take the hit.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, great conversation.
Oh, brilliant.
Ladies, thank you, Jan, for so much information there. It's
I'm a little bit passionate about it.
Oh, you could tell, really?
Wouldn't have picked it.
Yeah. Any final questions for Jan before we finish our conversation today?
Yeah, loved it, Jan. Great work.
Really good.
Yes,
really
interesting about it too.
Thank
so
you.
yes, I'll give you the link to our Facebook and Instagram pages, and of course the website is over50shealth.au.
Brilliant. And if you're living on the north side of Brisbane, you can actually attend the Dolphins.
Come and see the Dolphins.
I loved it. Thanks, Jan, and thank you everyone else, Kate and Narelle, for adding in the comments, and it just makes an interesting conversation. That is another conversation with the Morning Tea Marketing. This is, remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We love subscribers, and share it out far and wide if you've enjoyed what you've heard, and remember to leave a comment so we can give some feedback and know how we are going. Have a great day. Have a great week. Have a great month. Have a great year. And keep that body healthy. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, ladies. Bye.
Thanks.
Thanks.